and so forth and so on. As long as accountability, responsibility, reporting, law and order in the institutions, chaos. He ran away from the accountability with CCC. He does not want to tell people the truth. And when you have a leader who speaks on the spur of the moment, publicly, which is when you go to us, and we have to ask people to because movement has chaos, as you can the president decision yamaita yakamira say otanga kuti party yaitwa eject. This is more seriously. We need leadership that's accountable to the people. And being accountable to people is to be able to sit down and explain kunyika kutakumana testimony zvakaitwa mabrazil, testimony zvaitwa mamain, testimony all these assets aitwa stripped. Taura kuti zvakati. Mnangagwa cannot do that. Robert Mugabe could not do that. But we need new types of leaders who think through thoroughly about what they are doing. I do not find that in Nelson Chamisa. I could ask him a question today. As one in Zara, why could I marry now that I went to elections? Because today is not time for people to be talking about elections. Today is time to talk about the institutions that run elections. Reform those elections before we can even talk about elections. But now so towards donations. No, this is must stop. And the people must stop him.
Absolutely.
We shouldn't go on electoral because they are regard. We give ZANU-PF Umbiri Echitsiga because even so we have the capacity to force ZANU-PF to electoral reforms.
Right.
But with the kinds of leadership we are seeing now, we can't because they don't have any idea. Ask him what is the new thing you are bringing to the table right now.
Right. Can I ask you one question, Mkoma, before you go?
Sure.
In his statement, he said, in his parting words, in that 14-page letter statement, he said, "This is to officially and under my hand inform you fellow citizens of Zimbabwe and the world that with immediate effect, I no longer have anything to do with CCCC. As a patriot, I remain active in public service. I also remain a loyal citizen, a listener, freedom advocate, a citizen's champion and leader. My focus remains fully on Zimbabwe, asserting your victory, honoring the citizen mandate, and God is calling to provide leadership. There are first things we need to do. Let's all work together for total freedom, true change, and holistic transformation for our beloved country. Giving up or giving in is not an option. Nothing comes without tenacity and resilience." So, according to that, does it say you left politics altogether?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yes.
That's a potpourri of words put together. You can ask yourself, where is the head? Where is the tail? But when he says he's a leader of what? Who are the followers? Leading in what way? The man he runs around words like this, but he does not say specifically what it is that he intends to do. And so when we say we know him, but he said the quita CCC, right? Can we quita CCC? Can activism inside politics, outside politics, even if it's public service? Public service means anything. You could be doing public service, Basrama Church, Basrama Chembere, and all these other social organizations. That's good public service. But he does not say exactly what it is that he was trying to do. And we should peel off these words and say specifically what is it that you are doing. What you leader wani mushite kupi saying genyi rini.
Right. So even after that, you still maintain that because the reason why I read that to you is because I think in your contribution you said he lied that when he said that He has never left politics. You called him a liar, on that one.
That's correct, because that is whatever you read, it doesn't say what it is that you are. My point is this. Remember, this man said, we have ring-fenced the 2023 elections. Hakuna ari kuriga. Did anyone ever ask him to win? And I remember asking him, what have you done to assure the nation that the election won't be rigged? There was no answer.
Right.
So in him, so today, if he says ndiri mutungamiri, mubvunze kuti uri kumbotungamira chii, muchiitei, vanhu vacho ndevapi?
Right. All right. Thank you very much, Nkoma. Again, it is open to individual interpretation. That.
But at the bottom of everything, it doesn't matter what I say. But what I'm simply encouraging all of us to do is to ask the real questions to any leader, whether we can't continue to be blind followers to nothing.
Right. No, I hear you. Thank you very much, Nkoma. Thank you very much. Okay. Right. Right. So the next one is Mofu Padari. Okay, Padari comes next because I think I've added Osoro, I've added Advocate Herbert, I've added Tamsanga. Those are the ones that I remember adding. Yeah, so I will so I will announce that. I mean, I'll announce the list. The lineup when Padari is done. Right. So Padari, take the mic.
Hello, guys. We thank the person who supported this to happen, the conversation to happen. It's a very interesting topic. Very interesting topic. Chamisa announces that he's coming back to politics. After what has been happening in ZANU-PF, the committee and all this and all that, everything else, he saw an opportunity which, let me just strike here. A lot of people are going to embrace me because they need me and they want me. Before Chamisa went away, I say to people that this guy, what he managed to do was to destroy the name of, MPC. Tondra Indira, nobody talks about him. The people that he claimed that were killed by ZANU-PF in that movement are all never forgotten. They've been forgotten. The widows that they've been claiming, they've been forgotten. The lives that went and died for this movement that he says, we birthed him, are all forgotten. And I said he was coming to destroy that. Because he's going to destroy that. Well, that's what charisma does. Charisma seeks total control and needs that control. I don't even know why we are in doubt that he never left politics. He never did. Is he a leader? Yes, he's a pastor. It's leadership. There are people that believe in him. What he did is to engineer the mindsets of those that believe in his name. But so he's existing leader in the heads of many. He is there. Is there any person in opposition that can come and actually take away what this guy did? You have to have a lot of money. I've said this so many times. In order for anyone to come about, right? Can you imagine now he's talking of a movement? 2023, he contested to those numbers and he created people to go in parliament and councils. So he does not need a movement. He does not need anything to really, he just needs to go back and just form another party and move. Because no matter what he does, people will come here and defend him, and because he's already created that base. He does not need that. He does not need people to say, we're going to go to the churches, we're going to go to this, we're going to go to that. Because that wave of what he needs has been already done in political science, in strategy, in warfare. He's already done that wave of plastering the place that he moves on, the cementing of his footway he's going to step on. He's already done that. Because the movement is supposed to then birth a political party. But who does things in reverse order? Which leader does things in reverse order after going to election times 2, failing to win the contestation? What saddens me in this coming back point is no apology for his failings of what he's done before. There is no acknowledgement of what he has actually done wrong to the people of Zimbabwe. Absolutely nothing. He then turns it around because people buy the same rubbish and they say, oh, it was Emerson Mnangagwa who did this and took away the party from me. From anyone who knows leadership, if a leader says it was this person who destroyed something that I built, he is weak. He's acknowledging that he's weaker than Emerson Mnangagwa. He knows that he's weaker than Emerson. That's why he's acknowledging that this guy can create something. Can I finish? You've spoken your story. You know what I'm going his inability, let me teach him, his inability to actually penetrate or influence. Okay. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Right, Baba Juju, let's not interrupt. We are going to hear a lot of things that you may not agree with. But we are not saying when you let him speak, we are not saying but let's just disperse flow. Your time will come, you can rebut. So let him speak. So Padre, please just go on and do your thing.
Yeah. In the world of leadership and power, if people with money do not follow you, then you've got a problem. If you cannot influence that judiciary to stand for you, then you've got a problem. If you cannot influence people with guns to stand up for you, then you've got a problem. If you cannot influence the people that are there, one thing that Chamisa can do, he's got a caucus that can actually then mobilize for him and actually is going to vote a natural vote that was created after the hard work that happened with the political scenario in Zimbabwe. He has that because it has bought into him. He has that because there are people who lie, who are good at lying. But listen, in politics, you don't call it lie. You say propaganda. Right? It's a lie. But it's good propaganda. He's got people who are good at propaganda to say ED bought Mwalanzora. He's literally everyone that is around the MDC leadership has been taken and rubbed away because of the good propaganda machine that he inherited from MDC and has moved to his side. I wouldn't call them lies, right? Because, listen, those are not lies. Those are propaganda words, and they pay dividends. They're actually benefiting him because they are paying, they're getting the votes that he needs. They're also bringing the people that he needs. They're also buying into the mindset of those that are seeking change. So my strategy position, it's a win position. But to someone, I mean, I could change, maybe I don't believe I could change straight. It's a lie. But to me, it's not a lie. Those guys, he did it well. He's got people who can come up here, defend his name, and say, the party was taken by ED, all this and all that. To me, I'm happy because he's admitting. But to you, it's a good propaganda because it actually keeps the base flowing and the hope going on with whatever he's trying to do. Is he going to bring a new scenario from what we are seeing in ZANU-PF, what ZANU-PF has done? ZANU-PF has evolved. ZANU-PF has evolved to the fact that anyone right now who's coming just because you think you just want to change people, that's because you are using the words, why would I not development of Zimbabwe? Why would I not Zimbabwe? You will fail. That's not what people want to hear. You have to go above and beyond a dream. You have to give people right now a vision of what they can see, what you can bring in. You have to stand with a team that can articulate better than Anam Tulingube, better than Anata Guinea, better than Anata Vitalis. You have to come up with a team that is so sophisticated right now. Look, Zimbabwe, what ED and his team have done is, in the military world, the sanctions are the worst form of warfare. The Western world has started pushing those sanctions away from Zimbabwe. Right? They've taken them away without any compromising from ZANU-PF. You gotta ask yourself, why is the West taking away those? What is the United Kingdom interest right now in Zimbabwe? What is the interest of the Chinese in Zimbabwe? Geopolitics, where does Zimbabwe done? What is ED and his team rigged for the geopolitics, for things to happen in Zimbabwe, where we are buying drinks, $2 for $1, Vura $2 for, $4 for $1, and so forth. If you cannot answer those, as a political leader right now, you're just as good as just coming in because you've got a natural position of creating a vote that is going to go in as an opposition, create opportunities for those that want to political mindset, for those that can buy you and you can award them with position, which is a natural base, but which has been eroded to some extent, a very good extent. The numbers you see for Chamisa will never be the same if 2028 happens, or 2030 or 2033 happens. He will not be going to the contestation of an election with President Mnangagwa. He will not. Because President Mnangagwa has already said he's done. And ZANU-PF will bring in a sophisticated leader who's way 10 times ahead of this guy in thought, in practice, in practical ability, and actually delivery. So this is what you need to be asking yourself. If it's a movement, is it a movement just to criticize people, or is a movement to show people that he's quite an able man who has built so much, who's got so much wealth, he's made people change his lives. People have done so much in the last 8 years. He has been in existence as a political leader. Chamisa, to me, will remain as the weakest, and the weakest of all in terms of leadership and military style delivery of change. Many thanks.
Right. I was expecting those last words. Thank you, Padar, for that. I think there was a lot of reaction as expected from the speakers, but thanks for your words. Uncles, I think you were going to do a lineup for the people that he added. Right. If Uncle is not there, I think he said, can I go to Osoro?
I'm sorry, co-host. Can I respond to Padare for a minute?
No, I want you to, because if you respond, he's gonna respond again. So I want you to come on your when you come to do your submission, then you can first respond on his, because once you respond to him, he's gonna want to respond back to you. So I will let you just keep it in with you, then you can respond when you come. So, right, let's go to Osoro if you can.
Thank you. I'm just going to be quick. I can't believe for once, at least I'm on the same side as Padare. The problem that I've had with him is he seems to be a smart guy, but he doesn't put the same standards when it comes to ZANU-PF. Right. This guy blocked me because I asked him a question and he couldn't answer the question. The question was that he brags about being in the army for the UK, and I asked him, if the UK was going to go to war with Mugabe, which side was it going to be on?
So who blocked you? Are you talking about Padare or Chamisa?
Padare.
Nothing about I don't know why I'm important in this topic. I'm not important in this topic.
No.
No, Padare, let him speak. That's fine.
But you're talking about me. I'm going to block you. I'm going to block you.
Padare, can I finish? You had your turn. Right, but you had your turn to come back. You have to come back.
Please mute your mic, Padare. Let him go.
Tell him that blocked him, so he can't talk about it anymore. It's finished. Talk about something else.
Right,
so I blocked you.
If you continue to interrupt, I will have to drop you, bro. Let Osoro speak, please.
So my point is not really about him, but it's more about people who have double standards, right? Especially those people who support ZANU-PF. Some of them are not that dumb. They know, but somehow, I don't know why they only take one side. They are so strict when it comes to Chamisa, but they don't ask those same questions when it comes to ZANU-PF, right? Some of them are in England, in the US, they have good lives, but when it comes to Zimbabwe, I feel like they're a little bit racist against black people because they think the black people are the ones who are supposed to be taking showers or taking bath from my buckets, right? And drinking dirty water from the rivers because in Zimbabwe. And they, wherever they are, they're using clean water, hot water all the time. And it's like, that's what I'm against these people and my double standards. When it comes to this Iripa Dare, sorry, or what you're talking about right now, about Chamisa, I've always questioned him, the way he does his stuff, right, ever since he's been, doing his thing. And I feel like somehow, us as citizens, we are partly to blame because we have caused this complacency. We have given him the crown already without fighting for it. So to anyone in life, Aranzwaro, they don't see the
Right. Is he still speaking?
No.
Right. Also, I think. Okay, we lost.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we lost you for a second. Please go ahead.
Okay, sorry, yeah. I don't know which part, but I was saying, Kuti, it's our complacency that has caused somehow Chamisa to be like this. Because we have crowned him before he has finished the job. So he doesn't get to practice. Anyone, whether it's an athlete, a boxer, whoever, they have to go through the stages of practicing. That's how you learn, even to fight ZANU-PF. But if you just tell him you don't need to fight anyone in your party or anywhere, then he doesn't have that practice. Every brain, everyone, even the smartest people, they need to practice that. That's why even for Chikoro, you need to practice with my questions. So he needs to go through that to fight for this. And it sharpens him. Iron sharpens iron. So Chamisa he doesn't need to practice. That's why I just want to ideas because I have that practice. So he needs to fight for this thing. And I've also requested, I think I spoke to Uncle about Ngambo request. We have a space man up. We talk to him. Most of us don't know this guy. We just hear him talk, man. Most of the people who support him have never really spoken to him in person. The people that have worked with him, they go against him. So we don't know this guy. We need to know this guy because he's going to be responsible for our lives if he wants to be out there. I also think my last point is I don't think he could be maybe a good leader for the country. I don't know. But in terms of fighting ZANU-PF, I don't think he's the best one.
All right. Your network again, also, I think. Yeah, your last point was you don't think he's the best one to fight ZANU-PF. Then
yeah, I don't think it's the best one, but there can be someone, right? We should be able to find someone to fight. Priority should be remove ZANU-PF first. Anyone else will vote for the person to come in. But people seem to fight for him. Kuti Dian and Fanangoja fight ZANU-PF. He's not the best person for that. He's not a fighter, he seems to be a lover. Right? So we need a fighter right now. ZANU-PF, and then afterwards we vote.
Can I quickly ask you as you land? What characteristics do you think we need to that is required, that is missing in Chamisa to remove
a job for now? Those are the people that we want. White House and State House. Those are the people we need right now. Zimbabwe who do that after ZANU-PF. After my elections. And right now, Chamisa, within the 5 years, he should be fighting for my reforms. He should be going after my reforms. Chet only right now. That's what he's supposed to be doing. Not my elections, not at all. Saka, he has been doing the wrong things. And I know this. I'm glad that we have been having a mature conversation. People are opening up and people are smarting up now. He should be asked questions, right? He should be going after reforms, not near the elections. I don't know if he's incompetent or he's been bought. Saka, that's why some other people think he's been bought, because he seems to avoid the most important things that are supposed to be done, the proper steps that are supposed to be done. Anyway, that's what I have to say. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Thank you also for that submission. Again, interesting points from you, but I appreciate that. Can I move on to Navazesia?
Oh, thank you, Elder. Hello, everybody. Firstly, I wanted to remind Padare, if he's still here, that he mustn't give ZANU-PF as an example of excellency. On assuming power in 2017, Mnangagwa appointed several people into cabinet positions outside the constitution. But we have got a leader who masquerades as a lawyer. I doubt if law allows an expert of the field to do that. Secondly, we saw yesterday Dakwire being chased away from the Central Committee. If ZANU-PF is a party of excellency, why does it make so many mistakes in space of time? He mustn't come here to make us believe that ZANU-PF is a benchmark for excellence. That's wrong. Of course, we know he hates Chamisa. That's why he always sees faults in him. I'm a supporter for Chamisa, but where he is wrong, I welcome people to criticize him, but not criticizing him from a point of hatred. That's not it. That's not how we build Zimbabwe, and that will make our politics remain toxic as it is. Now back to the topic. I advise people not to take Jonathan Moyo seriously, because Jonathan Moyo seems to be reactive. Was he waiting for Nelson Chamisa to say that he's coming back to the political field for him to write his nonsense? After all, Jonathan Moyo is not a lawyer. He's a dropout in the school of law. Everyone knows that. He's not a constitutionalist. We can't take notes from Jonathan Moyo. We are giving him unnecessary relevance. That's the one which he's seeking. Probably he's trying to buy his way back to ZANU-PF or back to the country. But I think he's not that stupid like Muzembe. If he does that, he will sink the same way Muzembe did. Now, in Chamisa's issue for the broad-based movement, I think he is spot on. There are so many disgruntled people in our society, the church, the lawyers, all institutions. There's no happiness. Just take, for example, the lawyers who were supposed to go to Herbert Chitepo School of Ideology for indoctrination. They refused. Those are the people that Chamisa are talking about, that we are now using a broad-based approach. The war veterans, of course, not the likes of Okeza who want to put Chiwenga. We want people who want real change, not people who want to revive ZANU-PF. And I want to remind this other guy, I forget his name, who said Chamisa should choose people who he trusts. We mustn't delegate all that responsibility to President Nelson Chamisa. We know each other as citizens. We don't want to be led by Padare in the broader movement, because we know Padare is ZANU-PF. Then you find Padare being in a leadership position in that movement. That's a no. We are the people. We are the very people who are supposed to vet office bearers, not President Nelson Chamisa. Chamisa's responsibility is to lead, not to select leadership. I laughed when they said this other gentleman here who said it's His Grace who said Chamisa is a leader. Who is he leading? I don't know how to answer you. Chamisa got more than 2 million people in the past election. If you ask who is he leading, I don't know if you want him to lead even Mnangagwa. He can lead Mnangagwa in a free and fair election. Chamisa has following, and it's the only foot forward. Politics is all about numbers. We have no one who has built a following in the opposition. Even Morgan Tsvangirai is far below Chamisa in terms of following. That's what we need. But we mustn't blame Chamisa for not taking state power. We know the type of regime we are fighting. Everything is captured. But now we've got the army that required, that requested V11s from Chikumba. Chikumba failed. That's the broad movement Chamisa is talking about. Every institution needs to be brought in. It's not that everyone is happy with ZANU-PF. That's a lie. If everyone is happy, we could have seen the lawyers, the judiciary going to Eped Chitepo. But because they are not happy with the way how things are done, they boycotted, which is an advantage to the new movement that is to be born. For now, let me pause there. Thank you.
Thanks, Nabazezwe. No, thank you for that. My guy Hans is ZANU-PF is not the benchmark for excellence, Padari. Hans Imbotanga is not ZANU-PF. No, but thank you. So I think it was Tamsanga, then Advocate Herbert. But before I go that, Shalin, can I give you 30 seconds? You had your hand up.
Yes, sure. Thanks very much. I just wanted to say something to my brother Padare. I don't know if he listens to himself. When he was talking, I was actually taking notes because I thought I was going to come late. He said that Nelson Chamisa has forgotten the widows, and he went on to say who have been killed by ZANU-PF, and then he goes on to give us a case study of ZANU-PF as a part of excellence. I think if ZANU-PF people are listening right now, they must be ashamed of certain people who speak on their behalf. Because why are you critiquing a person who has forgotten and not saying something about the one who was killed? That alone for me is not only, it's worrisome, to see how our fathers, people who are of the age of our fathers, take that route. Forgetting is a thing. There's nothing wrong about saying Chamisa has forgotten something. Chamisa must be told that. And we also, we have written about it in things like the structure. We can talk about that. Chamisa, you don't have a proper structure. You have forgotten the people. If Chamisa is a leader, he must take that as a feedback. And it's good, Padare, to say that. Chamisa, you lack a structure. Most people have said it, right? Chamisa, you have forgotten people. But when you now say you have forgotten the people who have been killed by, and you put a subject of the killer, and you go on to critique the one who was forgotten, Padare, man. Padare, I think we can do better, my brother. We can do better. That's right. Thanks, Titus. That's what I wanted to point out. I found it ironic that a comrade say something like that.
Yeah, it's quite an ironic point. Maybe you didn't think through it, but interesting. Right. I was going to say, okay, Panya, Yema widows and stuff. I think it's always a subject that comes up, but I think from what I know, traditionally, Chamisa has always done my Christmas things where he always goes around passing. There was this lady, an old lady, was it from Highfield, Airfield? So she was known by social media, but what I was saying is, I think he is always, from what I've seen anyway, during Christmas time, and he traditionally goes around trying to give these older people, elderly widows and the Machembere, something to do. But that's not the point. So I think we're going to, I don't know, Uncle, is it Ebed or Tamsanga?
Elder, before you finish, it's folly to be wise where ignorance is bliss. Padare is talking from a point of ignorance. CCC or from MTC there is a department of welfare, a social welfare. All people whose homes were burnt, widows, everyone is taken care of. There is this other MP, a proportional representation member. Yeah, you saw what she is doing. I don't know what Padar is talking about.
Right, okay. Right. Can we have Advocate Herbert to come in?
Uncle Gerard, how are you? Long time.
Yeah,
Without appearing. How are you doing, madam and the family?
Yeah, everything is good. We thank God.
Yeah, and Titus as well. You know, interesting subject. But I think before I can give my opinion or conclusion on what Advocate Nelson Chamisa actually announced, I think it would do justice to the space if we can educate ourselves as Zimbabweans on the definition and characteristics of a movement. I think Charlene introduced it a little bit, but I just want to go deeper because if we do not go that route, there might be confusion when this thing actually becomes, it comes into motion or gets introduced, and people might not be able to actually deduce whether it is going in the right direction or not. So if you check basically on what a movement is, it deviates from a political party because a political party is much more engaged in trying to seek political representation through elections. To try to get into government, to have representatives who speak or represent people. It is, and probably to be able to unseat the existing government. Okay, but now a movement deviates from that norm. A movement is looking at a collective effort of bringing about social or political change, right? But then the movement does not do this through conventional means or conventional methods. The methods of a movement are unconventional. So that's one of the key characteristic. So when we say unconventional methods, we are talking about movements employ tactics which are beyond your traditional political channels. For example, movements are seized with methods such as protests, demonstrations, or civil disobedience. And some of the things is they are also change oriented. They aim to influence or change existing political systems. So movements look at social structures. They want to change social structures. They want to change policies. And the other characteristic is that movement is often oppositional, although political party also can be oppositional. But then movements, they challenge the state of affairs, whether it's government policies, it could be social norms, it could be dominant ideologies. And another very important thing is that, movements are largely, to a large extent, they are informal organizations. So they are typically less structured. Doesn't mean they don't have a structure, but they are less structured when you compare to political parties. The other thing that I wanted to say about movements is that there is a shared identity. So members often share common identity. For example, it could be based on ideology, it could be a social group, or it could be a shared experience. So this is what basically a movement is all about. Now, we can give an example. For example, Charlene spoke of the ANC. Now, somebody was speaking about Nelson Chamisa being the face of the movement. And if we start off from there, we are entering into a problem already. A movement does not have a face. And if I'm going to use the ANC that Charlene spoke about, most people, when they talk of the ANC, they actually think of Nelson Mandela or Sobukwe. But these are not the guys who actually started or facilitated the ANC. Most people, if you would ask who facilitated the ANC, most people